work-related stuff. We're live, baby. Avada Kedavra! How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Deadhead Podcast, episode 18. And me and Jan are back here for yet another episode in this. Man, we got us a good little series going on here, man.
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud, honestly.
Very proud, dude. Very, very proud of how far we've come, dude. And it's good to see your face again, man. This might sound a little weird, but it makes me happy seeing you, man. It's good to have the 2 week break and come on back, man. It's good to see you, man.
Well, there's no shame in admitting that. I'm glad to see you too, dude.
Oh yeah, well, good. Well, I hope you're glad to see me as I am to you, man. With life and everything else going on and all that. So it's like I say this every time podcast. It's just a good way to release, and I am ready to just talk about nerd shit and life and whatever else is going on. So
yeah, it's our safe haven.
Oh yeah, man. So anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and get some housekeeping out the way. Thank you for everybody coming back to another episode of the Deadhead Podcast. If you wouldn't mind leaving a like on this stream and subbing to the YouTube channel, we really would appreciate it. And also, if you wouldn't mind following us everywhere, every single bio on every single social media account, we'll send you the link to each one of our socials. Follow us everywhere. We try to do daily posts, but sometimes that's not as daily. Maybe it's every other day or something like that. I try to do two uploads a week, 2 videos, whether it be reviews or discussions, and then every 2 weeks we do the podcast. Just anybody who's new and for anybody who's returning. So with that being said, thank you for coming to this stream. Like I was telling Jan before this, I don't think we're going to talk about all of Hogwarts Legacy because there's a whole lot of controversy with this title right now. But also too with the fact of I'm only 13 hours in. I think Jan is roughly around the same.
But 14, something like that.
So we can't really dive deep into the whole thing, like story related stuff. We'll get into a little bit of story here and there, but we can't really get into like too much because I mean, like I said, I just got my broom, so I'm not far in it at all. So anyway, so with that being said, before we get into the Hogwarts Legacy of it all, how are you doing, Jan, and what's been going on with you?
Oh, well, I just finished with all my exams. It's the end of the sessions, and I'm kind of feeling relaxed.
Yeah.
It's a good way to start my my short vacation period.
Mm-hmm.
Just I'm going to get an episode of the podcast, play some Hogwarts Legacy, have some stuff to say about it. But as you said, it's not. I'm not ready to go deep in it, right? Balls deep. We just put it in for now.
Yeah, right.
What about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I can't really complain. My job has been very extensive. I'm working when I'm off, and when I'm working, so especially, and then when I'm off, I'm working as well. So there's got a lot going on. Matter of fact, tomorrow I'm off, so that'll be like the first day I can really play Hogwarts Legacy in like a week, and then I got to go back to work Monday because I got some things to take care of on on that day, and then I get another day off, and then I got to go back, and then get another day off, and then I got to work for 4 days straight. So it's it's been pretty busy. Work has been busy as usual. Like without getting into much detail, we've had a change of leadership at my job. So we're all trying to adjust. We're taking more leadership roles and things like that. So it's only making me and because really we're so understaffed. But it's making just me and my coworkers a lot better because we're taking a little bit more responsibility and things of that nature. So it's it comes with the job. You make a good living. You gotta do the good work, I guess. So it's just been a lot. I mean, I'm trying to find time to play games. I'm trying to find time to make videos and all this other stuff. And it's tough. This year has been just nonstop. I got a couple of doctor's appointments coming up and everything. It's just. Yeah, nothing. It's nothing serious. It's just some checkups I've been meaning to do, and I don't know how you feel about it. This is a good way to open it up. I hate going to the doctor. I hate it. Right. I haven't been to this is probably going to sound bad, so I know I'm going to get it done this year. I haven't been to the dentist. Maybe it's been over 10 years. I know that. I don't want to say it's been. Yeah, it's been a long time. Not I take care of my teeth. Like my teeth are pretty white, pretty clean. I brush my teeth so many times a day. I got a thing about my mouth, man. I like to make sure it's clean. I can't stay like even for instance, like with the podcast, right? Like we're so far away, you can't smell my breath, but I make sure I brush my teeth before I come on the cast. Like I gotta, yeah, dude, I gotta make sure my mouth is clean. So I hate doctor's visits, but I have like 3 or 4 of them that's coming up. I got an eye appointment, and then I have the dentist I have to go to, and then my freaking because of this weather over here in the States, it's changing so bad. I don't know how it is for you guys, but the weather is just flipping back and forth. 1 minute it's cold, 1 minute it's hot. So my skin is just like horrible, especially like on my hands and stuff. And I've tried every lotion there is. I don't know what else to do. So I got to go to the doctor for that. Anyway, I'm not trying to be all TMI, but I just, it's just like stuff like that, just checkups and things like that. Just trying to take care of myself a little bit on top of, trying to work out and try to get in better shape because I've kind of slacked off these past few months. So, but anyway, so that's what I've been doing.
And yeah, it sounds like you got your work cut out for you. I mean, you got doctors, you got work. This is the first time I heard someone being happy that they're understaffed. It's the first time I ever heard that.
You heard? Oh, heard they're understaffed? Oh,
yeah. I mean, you said you're understaffed and you're happy about it. That's the first time I ever heard that. Usually people are all...
Well, but it's not. Yeah, well, yeah, like we're understaffed, but I've just kind of because like so in my field, I don't want to that's a conversation I probably would have with you outside of this show, but so I don't want to go into my field too much, but I work for a county. I work for a service authority, so like it's you don't need a lot of people for the job, like as far as what the main job calls for. You don't need a lot of people. However, when you don't really have so right now I'm working without a boss right now. I essentially don't have a boss. Like I have someone above me, but they're not like my direct supervisor. So it's like we're kind of having to run our building by ourselves pretty much. You know what I mean? So yeah.
All right, I get it. And you like taking the lead.
Yeah. I mean, I do. Yeah. No, I'm good about that because it teaches you good like leadership skills. It teaches you patience, a lot of patience, and but with my job, there's a lot of stuff you got to learn, a lot of regulations, you got to know your stuff, and I guess because you're not, because I have never been in charge of something like this before. Or anything rather. So it's just a lot more you need to remember, a lot more you need to look out for. And it's I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit sometimes it's a little overwhelming. But like I said, it's nothing I can't handle. And I'm blessed. I'm good. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's just a little worrisome sometimes. It's just like, man, I just want to go home and play some video games. But then I'm over here thinking about, I got to go to this meeting. I got to take care of this. I got to go in here. It's like, I just don't want to have responsibility like that sometimes. But yeah. Well, like some, but when you're looking at it from like a supervisor type thing, it's a little bit more to it. But anyway. Everything's good. Enough about me, man. I don't want to go too far. Everything's good. I'm happy about it, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the show, and we got some stuff going forward. Oh, another thing for housekeeping. I'm sorry, dude. I am like really lacking. Obviously not this show, but 2 weeks from now we'll have Brandon from Murata Media on the show to talk everything Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Hopefully I'm gonna go see it. If not tomorrow, I'm hoping I'll go see it by next weekend. So I definitely should have seen it by the time we have our show. So I'm gonna try to, yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of time, sure.
Oh yeah, it's plenty of time. So, you know what the thing that sucks about it though? I'm hearing, and you can't listen to everything, but I'm actually hearing it sucks.
Oh yeah, people are saying it's the second worst MCU movie ever after Eternals. And that's quite the bar.
Oh, that's bullshit. I like Eternals.
Well, maybe you'll love this one too. I don't know.
Dude, I didn't love Eternals. I like Eternals. I thought that was good, man. I enjoyed it.
Well, okay, I haven't watched it, so I really cannot. I actually have a funny story to tell about the movie. But I haven't watched it, but I do know that people most likely trash on it, and they absolutely love to trash
You know
on.
why? You know why they're trashing on it, Jan? You want to know why they're trashing on it?
Here, I'm
Because
sure
it's
you love.
not this regular ass bullshit that they've been putting out for the past year and a half. It's bad that it's been the best movie that Marvel has done in like 3 or 4 years. Let's be
It's being
honest.
Raven. That's what
Yeah.
you're saying. Tony.
Let's
Raven.
be on. Yeah, let's be honest. Thor: Love and Thunder, trash. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, that's better.
Right.
Still trash. Let's be honest. There's some things about it that's good. Like, have you seen it?
Oh yeah, we talked about it on the
Okay.
show, dude.
Oh, we did talk about. I'm sorry, we did talk about it. I forgot about that. I thought Scarlet Witch was awesome. I thought she was great. But other than that, yeah, dude, Scarlet Witch was scary and she was really good. But everything else was trash.
That's pretty good. No, yeah, you're right.
So like
the zombie tip,
yeah,
that was the highlight for me.
yeah. That and then I mean, look at all these whack ass shows they've had, like She-Hulk. Who's watching that bullshit and saying that's good?
I don't know anyone.
Yeah, She-Hulk. What's another one they came out? Moon Knight. The first episode was good. The rest of it was garbage.
I actually have not. I haven't heard from that show like at all. I didn't watch it, and people stopped talking about it as soon as it came out.
Yeah, it had potential because Moon Knight is a way more like darker character. It's almost like I don't want to say the Batman of Marvel, but he kind of has that same feel. Like he's more of like a crime fighter at night. He's got the only thing is different. He's got multiple personalities. Like there's multiple personalities in this one guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's crazy. I get it.
Yeah. So like, but Moon Knight, the concept was good, but the show is trash. And then the other one that sucked was Miss Marvel. That one's garbage too. Like, I mean, like, so when you look up to that standard, you can't sit here and say Eternals is the worst Marvel movie ever made. I guarantee you it's better than Thor: Dark World.
Oh well,
and I like Thor: Dark World. See, that's the thing. I enjoyed it.
Which Marvel movie did you not like at this point? Because you keep trashing on the shows, but which movie did you not like? Okay, except we just said Love and Thunder and Doctor Strange too, but
okay, so the only one that I just thought was just okay, and I know this is going to be controversial, but I thought Black Panther was just okay. I like Black Panther, but I just thought his movie was just all right.
With you on that one.
Another one that I don't find myself going back to often, but I still like it. But it's like if I'm thinking about watching the best, like a good Marvel movie, I don't put this one on, and that would be the first Captain America. While I like the time period and I did find it kind of dragged a bit, and I thought Red Skull was not a very moving, emotionally driven villain. I just thought he was just kind of like a generic bad guy. That's kind of what I felt about him. And I tell you, look, I'm gonna tell you this: one of the worst MCU movies by far is Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh, are you sure you didn't want to say Far From Home? Because that's the worst one in my book.
Nah, look, Far From Home's close, but no, I'd say Homecoming. I thought Homecoming was one of the worst versions of Spider-Man I've ever seen in my life. He's such a pussy.
Worse than Far From Home?
What?
How is it worse than Far From Home? At least in Homecoming, it makes sense that he's a pussy because he's just a beginner, right? He's learning, right? Mm-hmm. In Far From Home, he has no excuses for being a fucking idiot. We've talked about this, dude.
No, we did talk about it. No, listen, I agree. I'm not saying that Far From Home's a good movie. I thought Mysterio was kind of corny in that movie, but I will say I did like some of the Spider-Man sequences way better in Far From Home than I did Homecoming. Mm-hmm. Like the scene where like the drones are in that corridor, like when he's trying to get to Mysterio, he runs out of webs and he has to use his Peter Tingle to get through these drones. Don't tell me that's not a badass movie scene.
No. Okay. So yeah, so the entire illusion scenes are badass, but that constitutes to like what 5 minutes of the total runtime.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna watch a movie for that. And
no, I agree.
I call it Peter Tingle. I hate it so much. I do not understand why it cannot be just spider sense. But yeah, but something like now. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, like, still though, I think it does have more to offer than than Homecoming. Then again, like I said, I know it's all subjective too. I mean, if you liked it, then that's. I thought I like Michael Keaton as the Vulture. I thought he was pretty decent.
Mhm.
I just wish they would have let him just be a little bit more vicious. Like he was evil at one point, like when he said, "Take care of my daughter, I'm gonna kill you and everybody you love," kind of thing. I thought that was pretty good, but then at the same time, I couldn't take it seriously. You know, I wanted to like. I know the Vulture's some old guy, I get it, but like I would have liked to see a little bit more. And I just thought Peter was the biggest. Like the best word for it is pussy. He really was. Like he's a bitch the whole time. And again, that's a Tom Holland Spider-Man issue, and we've been over this about 1,000 times. We've been over it so many times. So I could bitch about Tom Holland Spider-Man for an hour, but I mean,
let's put a lid on it. Okay.
yeah, I mean, Toby's the GOAT, and we know this already. So.
The goat
Speaking of which, though, did you hear that? I know we're kind of in the Marvel talking point right now, so I figured I'd bring this up. But did you hear that Tobey Maguire said that he was more than willing to come back and do some more Spider-Man stuff?
Oh man, for sure. I remember way back when Spider-Man 3 came out, there were already talks about Spider-Man 4. Tobey was all for it, Sam Raimi was all for it, but it never happened. Even somewhere on the web, you can find like the original script or maybe like an early concept of what the fourth movie was going to be about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did know this.
Yeah. Wasn't the Vulture supposed to be like the main villain of that movie?
And Mysterio was supposed to be like a throwaway B-rated villain. He would like show.
I wonder how that would have worked.
I mean, I certainly would have been interested, but
like with Sam Raimi's vision for that trilogy, right? Like it's a more grounded, not really, because you got Sandman, you got Venom. Like obviously that's not grounded, but that series is more grounded in realism as far as Spider-Man himself, not having a bunch of gadgets. It's just his abilities and then Peter's wit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what you get in those films. How would a Mysterio worked out? Would it have worked out kind of like the MCU, or would they done like something a little bit different?
Well, maybe he would have been just like in the comics. He wasn't ever that serious of a villain. He was kind of a little bitch, right? He would just try to use his cheap tricks, right? Just use smoke and mirrors, but doesn't have any actual fighting ability. And from what I understood, it was supposed to be, you know how some action movies just start with a fight, like the main guy is fighting, I don't know, some no-name villain, where he just gets to show how cool he is. He just beats the villain, and that's the opening act. From what I understood, that was how Mysterio was supposed to be presented. It wasn't supposed to be a big threat. He was just there to get his ass beat. And then the main villain would be the Vulture, as you said.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Did you see the they just released the pictures for the prototype for how the Vulture's wings were going to look? Have you seen that picture?
I did not see that.
You have to look it up. They showed like I don't know who it was. I guess whoever was working like the costume designer for that film. He was on Instagram and he posted just like a couple pictures that they were working on, and they had the wings already built, and the wings are a lot like what we saw in the MCU.
Let me see. I'm looking for them here.
Yeah.
Looking from Vulture's wings from canceled Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4 revealed. Let's see.
That's right. Yeah, that should be it. Because it looks an awful lot like the wings that we see in the MCU, which that would have been cool.
It's loading the picture. Oh damn! Yeah, it's it's like made of steel. I guess these ones actually look more like they belong to a bird. Well, the MCU ones are more. I mean, I guess you can tell they're try to resemble wings, but it's more like a jet, like a fighter jet or some shit like that.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of suit they would have had him wearing, right? Because the Vulture in the comics, it looks goofy. I'm not even gonna lie, like it's just some old guy in a bird suit. I would have liked to see what they would have done with it.
Too in the comics, and Sam Raimi made it work.
Right? Yeah, he would have probably made him look like an alien or something. Because Sam Raimi's got like this like weird vibe when he makes his movies. But I'm all for it, man. I love Sam Raimi, and if Toby, I I think, man, before Toby gets too old where he wants to get fat and can't fit in the suit anymore, they should do another. Come on, Marvel. I know you don't watch this podcast, man, but look, if you do stumble upon it, I'm gonna cut this section out. I'm gonna tag you guys in it. Please let Toby and Sam Raimi make just one more movie. You're gonna make millions. Do you understand that? You're gonna make you're gonna almost make like $1 billion, if not like more than that. Let's be honest, dude. You're bringing back the GOAT. Give the GOAT his like send off. Either that or bring Andrew back. But I'm sorry, I want Toby.
Either or, yeah. You know,
yeah.
But
dude,
I'm afraid they don't want to do it because they have this whole idea of the canon. Because Toby's Tom Holland is the actual Spider-Man. All the others are like they're spin-offs now. I think that's what you're laughing, but I think that's what the latest movie like kind of cemented. What's it called? No Way Home. We're like, oh yeah, so for all fans, you got to see Toby and Andrew. Well, I hope you're happy because that's what they are now. They're fucking cameos. They're spin-offs because now it's cemented the actual Spider-Man is Tom Holland. That's kind of the vibes that I got from that movie. So I'm afraid that it's a no-go.
Yeah, but see, like that. But here's the thing, though. That guy, the pussy. No, I'm just kidding. Look, Tom Holland's probably not a bad guy, but let's be honest. This dude don't even want to play Spider-Man anymore. And if he wants to take a break for like 3 or 4 years, what does it hurt to like give Toby his last movie?
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, and you can make it completely separate. Like put him back in his own universe. Don't make him fight something intergalactic. You know what? This is what I thought. Here was my thing, and maybe I told you this, so I'm sorry if I'm repetitive, but one of the things I thought would be really, really cool was Morbius was like a massive failure. Okay, I get that. The movie Morbius. I don't know if you had seen it. I watched it.
I've only seen the news.
Yeah. It's not good, but is it the worst movie of all time? That's kind of that's subjective. Anyway,
what's your favorite scene?
My favorite scene from the movie?
Yeah,
from Morbius.
Mine is when he goes, it's Morbin time. That's the best part.
He actually doesn't say that in the movie. I don't know where they got that from. I know you're laughing, but there's actually a pretty cool scene that I do like in that movie where there's like 5 armored guys and they're going into the laboratory trying to kill him while he's like, at the time, I think he's like really like skinny and he needs like blood. Well, anyway, he ends up drinking some blood and he ends up like becoming like straight up Morbius and he's like hopping from guy to guy in like slow-mo. Now I know like slow-mo can be kind of corny, but he's going from each guy and killing them. If it was rated R, that would have been a sick ass scene to see him like grabbing and
I thought we saw like there's like slow-mo of him just because he's like super fast or whatever, but there's like a slow-mo shot before he claws each guy.
Yeah. It was cool, man. I liked it. But anyway, so my theory is that maybe, well, now that movie failed, I don't know. But I was thinking maybe that Morbius would have been a kind of a cool villain for Toby's Spider-Man because it's like supernatural, but not like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely doable. You know what I mean? How worse could it be? It couldn't be any worse than like Sandman or Venom.
Well, not only is it doable, but it would be very canon because in the comics, Morbius is a Spider-Man villain, so it would fit perfectly. It would fit right in.
Yeah,
he managed to slip in some of the Morb jokes. They even got an audience for that. And I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm actually saying, how people made so many memes about it. I think if you put Tobey Maguire and Morbius in one movie, that's a top hitter. That's you're shooting for the stars with that one.
Yeah, I think I'm probably. Yeah, I mean that was mostly if Morbius was successful. Now that it's not, but I am interested. And unless you have more stuff to add to the Marvel conversation, the last thing I was really going to say was they are setting up a Sinister Six film. You see that already. They're already setting it up. I think a Madam Web movie is coming out this year. I know a Craven movie is coming out this year. And so they're trying to set up their little like spider universe. So like who's fighting all these guys?
So a Craven movie as in it's just him? Like he's the main guy?
Yeah.
What's with that? Why are they giving main roles to villains?
I don't know. I I guess they see the success of like I know people don't really like him. I like him, but I guess they see the success of like Venom and like Joker and things like that, where you got a movie focused on the bad guys, and they're trying to find that same hit that those did. So that's the only thing I can really think of is that they're trying to like trying to give a little bit more spotlight to these villains that has never been seen before, but also they're setting up the Sinister Six. And one of these Spider-Man or all three of them or whatever, I probably just one because it should be just one. And it ain't gonna be Tom Holland's bitch ass because he struggles with one villain. But somebody's going to have to fight six of them at the same time. And think about how badass that movie's going to be. If that eventually, eventually in our lifetime, that has to happen. Even if it doesn't happen like with the next few years, that's got to happen. Yeah, dude. I mean, who doesn't want to see Spider-Man fight six villains at the same time? That would be awesome.
Definitely. The Sinister Six have always been cool. I really like them in the game, in the PS4 game. They're pretty cool there.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, that was awesome, dude. And so
I really like this whole thing where they gotta set things up. What do you mean set up? What do you need to set up with Craven? He's a guy who wants to hunt big animals, and he sees Spider-Man as his biggest challenge. That's all the setup you need. I'm gonna go on a rant here because I think I already told you this, but I hate how they're giving the villains main roles because most of the times the entire point of a villain is to be a fucking villain, right? His character works because it's juxtaposed to the hero. So if you make him give him a main role, I'm not against that. I'm really not. I enjoyed Joker. I didn't enjoy Venom, but I saw what they were trying to do and I appreciated it. What I'm saying is that if you put him in such a setting, right, in a main protagonist setting, you gotta change the character drastically because his character doesn't work if he's not a villain, right? So if they set him up by making them protagonists, then they're going to be drastically different. So once Spider-Man has to fight them, they're not going to be the actual Sinister Six. They're going to be this new Sinister Six. They're going to have new reasons to even come together as a team, let alone find a reason to fight Spider-Man all together. And I think they're just making it really hard on themselves. They're trying to make this huge clusterfuck, and I don't understand why. I mean, I do understand why. Just as you said, they're trying to make this huge, get the lightning in a bottle moment where the Joker and Venom got. But I do not approve. I know that Marvel doesn't care, but that's my 2 cents.
Well, I will say, like, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with I don't know how much you know about Madam Web, but that's
legit.
Not much.
All I know is from the game, from Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions.
Oh yeah, Shattered Dimensions. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, that's all I know of her because she shows up. Yeah, and she's this lady who sends Spider-Man across dimensions. That's all I know.
So essentially, and again, I don't know all the lore. I'm doing some more studying myself, but I used to watch the animated Spider-Man. I can't remember which one it's called. It came out like early 90s. I know that. It's my favorite one. It has the theme song that goes.
Oh, yes. That one's awesome. Madam Web.
Yeah, she's like a main character in that. But anyway, yeah, so Madam Web is actually so Peter getting bit by the spider, that was not an accident. Okay. That was actually supposed to happen. And it's a curse. So Madam Web made this curse. I thought this would be a kind of a cool way for a Tobey movie because I feel like his Spider-Man makes the most sense for this. But anyway, she is she somehow or another comes up with the curse, and her throne, she sits on a throne, and there's like a web behind her, like a huge ass like spider web behind her, and each strand is a different version of Spider-Man. And which is pretty cool. So she kind of, in a way, kind of has like a connection with all Spider people because they're not. I mean, it's not just a Spider-Man. There's Spider-Gwen. You got. It's kind of like a multiverse situation, and it's kind of cool because they showed like, and again, you can look up images of it, but they already showed like I think they showed one image of a scene from that movie. What did I just say? What's the name? Madam Web. That's it. They showed a scene from Madam Web where there's a version of Spider-Man standing in front of her, and it's not a version of Spider-Man we have seen before. And so that's kind of interesting because I don't know what they're planning to do with her, and again, maybe that's another scenario to also have another sequel, whether that be with Toby or Andrew, is have that as well, because I think that would fit perfectly with that. So like the venom from the spider is a curse. It's not a like accident. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm
So
not sure how much I like that, but sure.
Yeah, she's almost like a supernatural, like almost like a deity almost.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
She just like in her sole purpose in life is just to mess around with Peter Parker.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't mess around. It's like she's almost like an aide, because she was the one who created the curse. I don't remember why. I don't remember the specifics.
What kind of aid is that? If he's cursing him, that's not much. That's not much help.
Well,
Sure,
it's not really. It's not okay. So you're being a smart ass. It's not really a curse. It's more of like a. So like even Toby says the thing. This is my gift, my curse. Who am I? I'm Spider-Man. At the very end of the original Spider-Man, it is in a sense where it's like you have to, when you're handpicked. She hands-picked people who becomes Spider-Man essentially, and so her whole being and why she's alive is she's controlling the timelines with Spider-Man in them. If that makes sense. It's
so
pretty.
It's Spider-Man for each dimension. There's one person who's going to go. You are going to be Spider-Man. I get it.
Yeah. Right. So it's pretty cool. Like it's a different. It's weird. Like this is the shit.
Yeah, there you go. We knew it's going to happen.
I know it's going to happen. I'll see if I can get it going in a minute. But that's how it's that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to do something pretty wild with the Madam Web stuff. So, I'll be kind of interested to see how that works out, man. I know you don't know much about it. I'm kind of learning myself, but
honestly, anything Spider-Man, I'm definitely gonna look forward to and watch. But after all the other Spider-Man MCU movies, I'm kind of skeptical. But I don't want to be pessimistic. I'm just gonna I'm gonna go there with controlled expectations.
That's right.
I don't want to set up for disappointment, because you kind of make a whole movie where it's just her, right? Because as you said, she's just this chick in a throne, right? Just handpicking Spider-Man from across dimensions. I'm guessing we're gonna be seeing some from Spider-Man there, right? Maybe not from Holland, maybe something from other dimensions. That would be interesting. When is this one coming out?
I know it's supposed to come out this year, but I don't know if they've put a release day out for it. Like, did you see the image, the stock image?
Looking for it, I can't find it. I have found that it's scheduled for 2024. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, never mind. But I mean, still though, I mean, it's worth the wait, because it's just a different part of Spider-Man's story that like, here's the thing. You can say whatever you want about, Sony. You can say that they make shit movies. You can say the quality's not there. You can say all that. At least they're trying to do something different with the Spider-Man story. Like the MCU Spider-Man, I'm sorry, he's not getting it done for me, because he what he feels like to me, he's Iron Man without that suit. You know what I mean? And for a while, he pretty much was Iron Man with the suit he was wearing. So like, this is a part of Spider-Man's lore that I don't think Disney/Marvel would ever touch, because this is when you get into some pretty like wicked stuff. She's a witch. And the Madam Web is a witch. And so this is like pretty cool stuff. And I just don't see them ever. I don't see them doing it, man. I really don't. So I'm excited for it. I'm trying to get my camera back on. This piece of shit.
Just take your time.
Oh yeah, no, I knew
difficulties.
Yeah, no, it's. I figured this was gonna happen. Like I knew it, like going into it, that it turned off on me like twice when I was just setting it up, and now it's it's.
I mean, it lasted a good 30 minutes. It did better than I ever could.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good. Well, anyway, so unless you got something else to add, we can move on from Marvel now. I know that was kind of a long-winded conversation. I can't believe I find myself talking about Marvel. I freaking hate Marvel.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I usually shit on Marvel.
But we can talk about something that we like.
Oh, well, I mean,
fucking unhappy and how much we hate
Yeah,
it.
I tell you
That's
what.
the
Yeah, let's talk about something I love. Let's talk about the Last of Us TV show.
right, because I love it so much. So tell me, I was actually wondering, what have you got to complain about? Oh, what are you doing? What have you got to complain about the latest episode? Because
What?
now, for once, I have something to complain about the last 2 episodes.
So you want to know what do I have to complain about?
Yeah, what did you dislike?
Okay. Well,
And why is it
so
Catherine?
for all you guys, so I'll give my piece, and then I'm gonna let you give your piece, and I'm not gonna cut you off. You are gonna see me leave the chat for a second and see if I can bring my video back, like that way you can see my face, because this
Sure,
started to piss me off. But I won't miss much of your part. I don't want you to think I'm like, oh, let me just get out of here before I listen to Jan's opinion. So, so here's the deal. I didn't hate the episode. I actually, for any of you guys watching, I did do a review on it. It is on the Deadhead 96 channel. Go show that one some love. I didn't hate it. But here's the thing. I do have some issues with it because I've had an issue with this show since it started. The premiere, I thought it was pretty great. I gave it like a 9 out of 10. The second episode, I gave it like an 8.5 out of 10. I thought the second episode was pretty decent. I like the clicker sequence. They actually made them feel dangerous. But pretty much from here, I've been giving it average. Even episode 3, which I think episode 3 is hot garbage too. However, I can see the good stuff about it. So I gave it a 5 or I think a 5 or a 6. So I was pretty damn generous, even though I was kind of negative. I was pretty generous because I like some of the stuff they did. I like the idea. I like the idea of Bill and Frank. I didn't think that was a terrible idea. And then I like Joel and Ellie's parts at the beginning and the ending of the episode. Anyway, let's skip all the way to episode 5. Episode 5 was good. I liked the bloater scene and all those infected that crawled out of that hole for the all of 30 seconds it lasted. Also, there was no gore. Again, I have an issue. Like, someone commented on my video, and if I can find the comment, I might try to look it up on my phone after I give my spiel about it. Someone commented on my video that I made, and it's whatever, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. I say it in every video. If you're enjoying it, if you're enjoying the show, that is fantastic, and I'm not going to say don't enjoy it. But all I was saying was I went on this little 3-minute rant in the video. And what I was talking about is that I think that in a show like this, you got to have gore, right? When you have a little bit of gore, that makes me actually feel like these things are dangerous. Now, you did see the bloater tear off Tommy's voice actor's head. You see that. That was Tommy's voice actor, by the way.
Yeah.
And rips his head off. And I thought that was pretty cool. But it was so zoomed out and so blurry, I couldn't see shit. And so I was just a little disappointed in that. But I've been disappointed about that since pretty much the first episode had some good blood scenes in it. Some good, decent blood scenes. But after that, I haven't really seen it. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, well, Dylan, does that mean the show is shit because there's not a whole lot of gore? No, I don't think that at all. However, when you're in a world like this, okay, I expect it to be a certain level of brutality. I don't feel like there's actual danger right now. I'm just like the scene where Joel and Ellie, they crash into the store after that raider is in the middle of the road. He ain't even hurt. And you know, he doesn't say that. He doesn't say that show, but that's a scene. Anyway, they get out, and in the game, there's more enemies there, and I know why, because it's a video game, right? I mean, you can have more than 2 enemies there. Mm-hmm. But I felt like there was no danger there. Joel just told Ellie, go crawl in that hole. I'll take him. You see him pop up out the truck. He takes a couple shots. He shoots the one guy. No blood. I just thought that was so weird. What are you shooting these guys with, Nerf guns? By the way, let me also say this. And I actually just heard about this, and I don't know if you know this or not. So maybe this might surprise you. Maybe you'll be like, Dylan already knew this. Apparently, the reason why in the gun sequences you don't see a lot of violence, you don't see a lot of gore, is because they're trying to bring awareness to gun violence by not having it in the show. And I'm like, what the fuck? Listen, I'm not saying that awareness to gun violence is not important. Obviously, that's fine. But this is a world where you literally have things trying to kill you all the time. What are you going to kill them with? Dildos? What is this, Saints Row?
All right. I'm not from the States, so I don't know what's going on over there. But how is it that showing guns being less dangerous and less violent than they are bring more awareness to gun violence? What's the I don't understand that thought process.
I don't know,
Can you
dude.
explain it
Your
to me?
guess is as good as mine. Listen, there is a lot. Like, all right, a lot. Okay, I'm doing air quotations. I know you can't really see me, but there, and then again, I know we were going to talk about some things that could be somewhat controversial, as in we're talking about Hogwarts Legacy in a little while, I guess. But my thing is like, and again, we're not getting political here. There's stuff going on in this country, right? Like, there's definitely stuff going on, but to me, it's like just what you said though, like showing less of it and showing less brutality. That's supposed to bring awareness to it. I don't understand the logic there either, but I'm disappointed, man, in that. Look, I know they said going into it, and maybe you heard this too. They said going into it that this show wasn't going to be as brutal as the games. And I think that's fine. You don't have to go as far as the game. The games were absolutely, I mean, the things you could do to people was like ridiculous. I would have liked that, but the show doesn't have to go that far. But I mean, come on, man. This is like, Jan, like I'm making sense here, right? I mean, this is a world there's no humanity left. There are people that do have humanity. There's very few. Like, it's not many people. So like literally there's people like there's bad shit going on, man. And you're telling me you're not going to show any violence?
No, I completely agree with you on that one. Because as you said, the things you could do to other people in the game is completely brutal. But I lost you there. Oh no, there you are.
Yeah, just keep going. I'm just trying to fix my camera over here.
What I want to say is that I think that the most important part that they could have showed is not Joel being really violent, but the world being very violent. Just as you said, if we don't see the bloater doing really violent stuff, really vile, brutal stuff, then we really do not feel this sense of danger. These things are just pretty sure zombies because we're pretty desensitized to the idea of zombies, right? I think in order to make us understand, to make us feel the fear that these characters are fearing, not only towards the infected, but towards the other characters too, is to show how unhuman they are. And I think I can hear myself through your feed, but that's okay. But what I want to say is that yes, I also have been pretty disappointed with the lack of violence in the show. And that is not something that I noticed until this final episode, this 5th episode. Now that I think about it, it has been a common occurrence in all through the whole series up until this point. But it's only here in this one episode that I kind of realized it. I guess it's because they showed the bloater. They we were all hyped about seeing the bloater in the show, right? And once we see he doesn't do diddly squat dip, just as Dylan said, he rips this guy's head off somewhere 500 meters away from the camera. And that's about it. The bloater, remember from the game, the bloater does some really vile stuff. He catches up to you. He starts taking Joel by the mouth, starts ripping it open. The bloater is a fucking, he just fucks, right? He's fucking in the game, and in the show, yeah, really verbose arguments over here, only on That Hat podcast. But on in the show, you don't get any of that. Honestly, the bloater. If I've never played the games, I haven't spoken to someone who has seen the show but hasn't played the games. But I'm sure that if I haven't played the games and I was just watching the show, saw the bloater, I think it's just a big zombie. It's just a big infected. Like, what's the big deal? We don't get to see just how fucking dangerous this guy is, how vile he is. And as I said, it goes from the human enemies too. I mean, I do understand that they want to show this more human side. I really appreciate it. Them actually being super scared, like the guy from, I think it was episode 4, where after Joe kills all his allies, this one guy goes to the ground and says, "Oh God, please, I have we are hungry. We're doing this because we don't have supplies. Whatever. Please don't kill me." And I do like that. But before that, it would have been cool to see him being really vile. Him going all up just to see this whole duality of man dynamic. Now that is something that I would have wanted to see because again, this is a brutal world. This is an unhuman world. The regaining of humanity is kind of one of the themes of the story, right? Joel is as dehumanized as the world in in the beginning after the prologue of the story. And his reconnection to Ellie is also his reconnection with humanity. And low-key, and I thought that's what they were going for in the show. Because if you remember in the second episode, he just brutally starts assailing that one guard, right? He just beats him to death.
Yeah.
And I thought that slowly as the show goes on, he's going to be always less and less violent. Oh, not less violent, but he's going to be more cautious with it. He's going to be more controlled, right? He's not going to be as impulsive. But turns out that's not what they were doing, because there's barely any fight scenes. This is one thing that I'm watching this with my roommate, as episodes can roll out. And one thing that he's making me notice that I haven't, there's barely any fight scenes at all. And much less, and if there are, they're almost always with humans. There's almost no infected. You mentioned how, we get to see 30 seconds of infected in the 5th episode. Well, I mean, and that's the most we've seen in, since episode 2. Yeah. And, when I saw it, I was like, oh, fucking fine. And there's like this horde of infected. And I thought that, okay, so yeah, we've been edging from seeing infected so long. And now it's all coming out of one big splash, right? A shit ton of infected. A blow risk here too. And in 30 seconds, it's already over. And and again, but and there we go. So I completely agree with you on that one. Completely warranted critique. And another thing that you haven't said, if I may say so, one thing that I didn't like, me personally, is the whole Hunter backstory. What's her name? Kathleen or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really didn't like her character. She's like this sassy boss of the hunters or whatever.
Well, let me say that. Let me say that, like, on top of what you were just saying. Yeah, I'm the same way. But you got these assholes out here who are like, this is what makes like people in general. It makes us gamers look bad. It makes just people who just like this kind of media look bad. There's like literally people attacking this actress for the way she looks, like her weight. And how she performed the role. And like, okay, look, I am a hater of this show. I'm not being a hater as in like I'm trying to hate on it. It's because I'm trying to see through the bullshit. I'm trying to wiggle my way through this like hedges of this is the best show on TV. This is the greatest of all time.
Best adaptation of a video game ever.
Yeah, best storytelling. I'm trying to make my way through it because it's bullshit. And so in doing that, it sounds like I'm a hater, but I'm not toxic. I'm not toxic to the point where I'm talking about like an actress just doing her job. Listen, I don't like Kathleen that much, but it's not her fault. The director told her to act a certain way, and she did.
Oh, yeah.
It's not her fault that it didn't hit. And why is people making fun of her weight and how she looks? Are you serious?
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I have actually not heard of this.
Yeah, on Twitter, like there's not many, but there's a small group out there who are actual haters of this show. Like I wouldn't even consider myself a hater because I've said every episode besides the premiere and the second episode has been above average. I feel like I'm being generous.
Well, you're not as much of a hater. You're much, just being your own critique, right? You're instead of bandwagoning, you're kind of you're saying what you actually think about the show. I myself, I know it sounds like I'm kind of hating it too, but I don't. I'm just kind of agreeing with all the things that Dylan has to say about it. But overall, I really like it. I'm really enjoying it. I do think it's the best video game adaptation I've ever seen, but that's because the bar is in hell. Yeah. Not because it's a really good adaptation. Yeah. But I do think that it's a great stepping stone for video game adaptations. If you compare it to the Uncharted movie, it's leagues above. It's far and beyond. Yeah. So what I hope is this is a stepping stone, and adaptations to come, such as the God of War adaptation, if that ever comes to pass in our lifetime, which they did announce, I think.
That's gonna be trash. That I'm already calling it.
Know that. Come on, have some hope.
Oh, I know that. You want to know why I know that? Because they're skipping all the Greek shit to go straight to the
To
Norse
Norse.
stuff.
I know, but
That's how I already know it's garbage. Because what are you talking about? And this is coming from somebody. Again, we've had this conversation before. Like I'm trying to make my way through the older games when there's not a whole lot coming out. I started God of War 1, and man, has that age, but not age like terrible. But I started that one and I got about halfway through it. But I think Dead Space might have came out and I just started playing that. But this is coming from somebody who I know the general understanding of what came before, but I don't know all the games. I enjoyed God of War 2018, but I probably would enjoy it even more if I played the other games. How dare they skip all those games just to go to the freaking Norse mythology? That's shit, man.
I do agree that it makes me kind of irked too. But you do gotta admit that the Greek, all the Greek arc in a God of War, it's kind of not very story centric. It's not really story heavy. I think they would have to heavily rework it to make it work, right? And with Norse ones, I think there's more leeway for them to make it a more faithful adaptation. But however, I do think that if I were in charge, if I were like a multi-billionaire, I would try to adapt the whole Greek arc, the whole Greek story arc, rework it as much as I have to, put a shit ton of foreshadowing for the Norse arc. That would be great. But unfortunately, we live in the real world, and that would have never happened. I know that would never happen. So uh, I'm accepting what we get. What we're getting is a media stress beginning, where they just begin with the Norse mythology arc.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
what I was to get back to what I was saying, Kathleen, the character, not the actress. I don't. I never would have even thought. I never would have birthed the thought of hating the actress for that. But yes, I didn't like her character. I think the entire idea that we need a backstory to every single faction of enemies Joel and Ellie come across is pretty ridiculous, and I didn't mind it up until now. The fact that it constructed this whole backstory, like her having the brother that was like a great man, but she's not like him, so she wants revenge, even though that's not what he would have wanted. And the fact there's like a scene in episode 4 where she kills a doctor or whatever. I even forgot about it because it's so unconsequential. And yeah, they set up this whole thing, and what ends up happening? Diddly squat dick. It doesn't move the story in any other direction that the original game does. She just dies like a fucking idiot. She's not even used as a, I don't know, as some sort of narrative ploy. She's not. I thought that, I don't know, maybe she's gonna be someone that Ellie has to kill. I don't know. And it's gonna be like a huge thing for her. No, it's not even that. She gets killed by the fucking clicker baby, which, by the way, I did like. It was a nice choice because you never get to think in the game. All the times I played through the game, both parts, I never thought, what if a baby gets infected, or a child? I guess it was a child.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. I did good on them. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's so weird. Honestly, it feels like something that they would do in a game. You know how sometimes games, like really long ones, have this really unconsequential, minor villains, like Assassin's Creed, the original Assassin's Creed. It would keep setting up villains only for you to kill them 15 minutes later. That's
Mm-hmm.
what this felt to me. And honestly, and it was so obvious that it didn't care about this character at all. They just gave her the standard, evil bastard archetype, where she's being, really mocking when she talks to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had like I think it was someone, yeah, anyway, someone from my friend group even said they liked her, right? She's a girl boss, whatever. She's so not. She's just boring, right? I have no
Mm-hmm.
way. I can't even think like a joke to make fun of her because I don't know, she kind of makes fun of herself. I don't really have to add
Yeah.
anything to her. So I bitched enough about that.
Yeah. No. Well, what I'll say to that is that I am glad that they sort of explained why this group of people was following her because they had much respect for her brother, and then
Mhm.
apparently Tommy's voice actor. I don't know what his name was in the
Right.
show, but He said something about you've got us out of some tight places, so we're with you. But he's very vague about what she really did. So they
Why do
did
we need
kind of touch on it, but
It's so vague. What do we mean? That I couldn't imagine that myself, right? I think that character to say, "Oh yeah, we owe you one." Well, no shit. Why else would you lead him, right? What kind of explanation is that? And honestly, never once while playing the original games have you ever thought, "Oh shit, I wonder why these hunters are so in for it for Sam and Henry." No, you don't give a shit. I mean, they're bad guys, right? They probably wanna, I don't know, they wanna scavenge him. Maybe he stole from them. My point is, it doesn't fucking matter.
so you
And
didn't really like the story they added to that where
I really didn't. I really
Henry
didn't.
got kicked out because he was taking the medicine for his brother because he had leukemia.
Honestly, that part I kind of like. I like
Yeah, I
that
was
they
fine
added.
with that.
I said
Yeah.
I really am, but they dragged it on for way too much. It's one thing to add on, right? To add a bit of explanation, and then there's filler. I thought that all this thing, like episode 4 and 5, it really could have been just one episode. Um, and the reason why I'm so obsessed with the runtime, right, of them adding filler is that this series we're already past the halfway point, right? And I don't think that Joe and Ellie had any chance to get any closer.
Hmm.
By this time, if you remember, by this time in the game, Joe and Ellie, they there was this little moment in Billstown where Joe trusts her with a car. He even says some words of encouragement to her, which I
Yeah.
completely missed in the show. Also in the game, there's this moment where they have the little argument, right, where Ellie disobeys Joe, but that ends up saving him. So he's kind of
Hmm.
conflicted about that. But in the end,
Right.
he kind of swallows his own pride. He says, "Just between you and me." And what he says something. Oh, just to set things straight, it was between him and I, right? You did.
Right.
In other words, it was his backhanded way to say you did save me, right? It's like a
That's right.
backhanded thing. We got something like that in the show, like where he does trust her with the gun, but I thought it was nowhere near as as impactful. It wasn't nowhere near as a bonding experience that it was in the game. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they're
Yeah.
being about it. So yeah, that's my issue. They're focusing on these really inconsequential characters instead of focusing on the main of the on the main duo, right?
Right.
That
Yeah. No.
by the way, they reveal the how what the next episodes are going to be. The all the next episodes. The sixth one is going to be, I don't know, probably I don't know, but the seventh one is going to be left behind, right? And after that, they only got 2 episodes left, which I'm guessing the eighth one is winter, and the ninth one is the ending, the finale, right? The
Yeah.
hospital. That means that by episode 7, they should really be bonded, right? They should have had their big bonding moment.
Yeah.
So
Right.
they have one episode, which is episode 6, the one coming up tomorrow, which that's the episode where they gotta kind of wrap this up, where they kind of gotta put the climax to their bond. Well, I guess the climax is actually what happens during winter, but they should be really they need to have their I'm not your dad and you sure as hell not my daughter moment. And I could not feel like it's warranted, even if in this 1 hour episode they somehow really focus on it. I cannot see it being warranted, but maybe they pull it up. I don't know. I'm not.
Well,
I don't know anything about storytelling.
that's been one of my major complaints, and why when people again, if it sounds like I'm attacking a group of people, I am. All I'm saying is from the beginning, Jan, I've been saying it since the beginning. This feels like a rushed product. Everything is rushed. All the greatest moments are rushed. Like when Ellie, when Tess finds out that Ellie's infected, Joel, and all that stuff. By the way, I thought the acting was a little funny there, but anyway, like that whole sequence, it was really rushed, and it was like, oh, we gotta go. In the game, it was way more impactful there, and so like everything is just rushed to me, man, and I don't know. Like, see what we have to do, and I've said this in my video. I've said it in every video, and I've yet to do it. So I'm gonna say it here because if you don't listen to anything else I say, You got to listen to this. We got to stop looking at this show like the games. We just got to stop doing it because when we do it, this is what happens. But see, it's impossible. It's fucking impossible. Like we've both beaten the game. I'm gonna play to the game again probably soon because I've been wanting to play it again. And so like we've beaten the game so many times and we've seen the cutscenes. We pretty much know what the line when they're gonna say certain lines before they say it. So we're gonna compare it to the source material. How can you not do that? Because that's what everybody's freaking complaint is. So real quick, I want to read this comment to you on this video. You can still see me, okay, right?
Yeah, you're kind of just like this big shine on you, but I can't see it.
Okay, well, it might be just because I'm looking at this the screen kind of up close because I don't have my glasses on because I was trying to watch the glare. But anyway, someone posted on this video for episode 5. I did a review on it, and he pretty much said, so my whole thing was there's not a lot of gore, and I think that's the reason why it's not really hitting me as bad because I think, the things I was telling you before about the world and this is the world they live in, so I expect to see some more brutality. And this guy, this jackass, comments on my video, and he says, I think you have poor understanding of production, story, or acting, and are blinded by some weird desire for a carbon copy of a game. Saying a character, and I did mention in the video, I said that Ellie was kind of bitchy at the beginning, which is true. I said, and he said saying a character is bitchy and focusing on the fact that you didn't get to see a decapitation and enough detail is not nuanced, interesting, or thoughtful criticism. This review is frankly infantile, is what he said. Yeah. And I'm like, and I just commented, I said, right. I said, LOL, sure, bro. Glad you liked it. It's pretty much that's all I said, because what do I say that? So because I want more brutality, that makes it seem I don't like story. I don't know story. I don't know atmosphere. And I just want a carbon copy of the game. I never said I wanted a carbon copy of the game. All I said is when you're going to do these scenes from the game, do them justice. Like the scene where Joel and Ellie are riding in the car in the show. Like I think it's episode 4 after they get the truck from Bill. And they're on the road and she's looking at the magazine. That was a really well done scene. It was pretty close. It wasn't exact, but it was pretty close. You know what I mean?
It doesn't need to be exactly like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I never said it had to be. But anyway, to go back to my last, I just wanted to read that comment to you before I forgot about it. Just to get back to what we were talking about. The whole thing is, man, it just feels like one rushed shell of a story that I know of. It's a very shell of the story that the game has told. Now, granted, I know there's people out there who have never witnessed Story of The Last of Us, and maybe if they're liking it, that's great. But my thing is, for the people that are fans of it, how can you say this is a faithful adaptation? I think from the acting, I think the world looks beautiful. I think they did a good job with the environments and stuff like that. It's hauntingly beautiful, like I like to say. I love like apocalyptic stuff, the buildings being covered in moss, cars being flipped over, rusted up. I love all that shit. I think it's great. Buildings like falling into each other and stuff. I think that's great. But I think that everything else just feels kind of cheap to me. It just feels cheap, all of it. And I think there is scenes that I do like. Like there's a scene at the end of episode, I think it's episode 4. Yeah, it is. That's when Sam and Henry show up on them. But at the very end, when they're sleeping and Joel before they fell asleep, and Joel put the glass on the floor to alert when somebody's coming, although it didn't really work. But when Ellie tells him that story about diarrhea, about it runs in the genes or whatever, that was a really nice moment between Joel and Ellie. He was like, that's so goddamn stupid, and started laughing because I laughed at it. I thought that was a hilarious joke. Like you could tell Joel was trying to stay like hardened. You know what I mean? Like this is not fun. She's Cargo, right? I don't want to have fun with Cargo. But then when she tells that joke, you see him go from like a serious face to just losing it, because that was a really nice moment. When I saw it, I was like, okay, this is what I've been wanting to see this whole time, which I know you got to build to that. I get that. But it felt, that was the one thing they did take a while on, because now, like you say, I mean, we only got one episode. So in this episode 6, they have to like really start clicking as far as their father and daughter relationship, because now it's like, yeah, you only got 3 episodes. This show could have benefited from a 13 episode season. I don't think 13 episodes would have been too much to ask. I think you would have had a little bit more time too if you wanted to have like this Bill and like here's the thing. When
Exactly.
stuff
That's
like
what
this
I was-
happens, when things like this happens, then you get pissed that they dedicated a whole episode to Bill and Frank's story. Because now, see, the way you feel about Kathleen is the way I feel about Bill. And I'm just being honest. He went from a character that was, that actually kind of moved the story along to just some love story. And that's fine. But when you only got a 9-episode show, man, we ain't got enough time for this shit. They're dead.
No, I agree with you. I think that they're trying to have it both ways, right? They want like a mini series, like a 9-episode series,
Mhm.
but they're putting so much filler. It might be good filler, right? Sometimes maybe a good flavor to the plot, but yeah, you're right. It's not I don't know. Like I'm saying, I'm liking the show. The reason why I'm saying all these negative things about it is because I want it to do better, right? It's like when you tell your son that he's a pussy, that's because you want him to do better, right? No, I'm just kidding. But it's yeah, I do appreciate it, but I do wish they've done some things better. Not you said about how some scenes were not as impactful. Spoiler alert. Well, I guess this is all spoiler, but the ending of episode 5, Henry's suicide, right? It
Didn't hit me as hard, man.
it really didn't. And for once, I'm actually ready not to blame myself, because usually I just blame myself for being too attached to the original script of the game. This time, I do not agree. This time, I actually think that the scene was weak. The scene was first off, it's weird as hell. So what? Ali, because in the game, Sam, am I mixing them up? Is Sam the little kid?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, I'm not missing them. So Sam does not show his bite, right? He's hiding it. In the show, he shows the bite to Ellie, and Ellie says, "Oh no, it's fine. Let's just have this weird blood ritual, and you're gonna be good." So, and she goes to sleep, like an angel, like she sleeps like a baby, with an infected in the room. What? Was I missing something there? Okay, is she that gullible? Like, I guess she's 14, but is she that gullible that she actually think that her makeshift blood transfusion is gonna cure him from the infection, or did she maybe think that he's not gonna turn so fast? Like, what's the deal? I do not understand. What was that?
The
It was a
makeshift
really-
blood infusion. that was funny.
Yeah, this is what she does. She cuts her palm, she rubs her blood on his car, and calls it a day. And I do not understand that scene. As I was saying, it was a really cute scene. The whole thing where Sam is deaf now. I mean, all right. I guess again, good. They're showing more aspects that we didn't think about. Yeah, what if? What if you're in this brutal world, right, where even people without major handicaps have it tough? Someone who actually has a deficiency, like a hearing deficiency, has it that tough, but like tenfold. Great, I love that, and I think that they're a little moment, right? The fact that he's much younger than her, the fact that they more have like more of sibling energy. I like that. I actually might even like it more than in the games.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's this weird thing where, that I don't understand. How maybe you saw something that I didn't. I do not understand why Ellie did not alert Joel. Okay, maybe I get it what she wouldn't say to Henry because it's kind of a tough conversation. But maybe pull Joel apart to say, okay, so we got to figure out what to do. This little kid is infected. He's going to turn by the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna let you answer that, but before I just want to say that and the actual scene, which plays out exactly the same as in the game, except not as shocking because it's just really weird because we think that Ellie has a plan, but she doesn't, obviously. So she's being attacked by Sam, and there's no, I don't know, it all happens so fast. Like the parts are supposed to be fast or slow, and the parts supposed to be slow or fast. It takes Joel like ages to respond, to get his gun. It takes Henry ages to shoot him, tell him, he doesn't say, "This is my fucking brother." Or if he says it, he didn't really stick with me because I don't remember him saying it.
Hmm.
They're just, I mean, I get maybe they want to be more grounded, less dramatic, right? So people would usually not be too shocked to speak in a scene like that, if that actually happened to them. But I don't know. It just, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It didn't seem as tense to me. And the scene where he actually, game over himself is again, it doesn't have the same click.
Yeah.
It's just happens. It literally just happens.
Yeah.
But
No,
I don't know.
I agree. No, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I mean, with the whole makeshift blood transfusion, I thought that was pretty good, by the way. That was good. I like that. Um, how I interpret that was because I was watching it with the wife, and when that scene come up, she's like, "Did Ellie just heal him?" I'm like, "No." I knew that wasn't going to work right away. I was like, "There's all right." It's like I say in my review. There's something in her blood that makes her immune. It's not the blood itself. It's something in it, right? That's what's it's not even her blood. It's just something in her brain, right? Because
Right.
it gets onto the
Well,
brain, right?
what
Well, at
actually
least in the
is, it's
game.
the
In the
fungus.
game,
The fungus that mutated. That's the key. It's not that she's not special. It's just that the fungus that infected her happened to be a mutated version. And that's all there is to it. And by the end of the game, it's all in her brain. That's why they gotta take it out. They don't need her brain. They need the fungus in her brain.
that's
But
right.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, so I'm sitting here like the whole blood thing anyway didn't really make much sense because I didn't think that's really what they were going for. I didn't think that her blood was the answer here. But anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah, I thought that was kind of whatever. I was fine with them making Sam deaf because it kind of adds a whole more layer to it. Like now Sam is even more dependent on his brother Henry. So they were trying to make it more tragic if when the inevitable happens. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I didn't think they were gonna go that far with it. This show has been for little kids up until this point. So I'm surprised that they did that. I'm
well,
surprised they went that dark.
you thought he was not gonna game over himself. You
Yeah,
thought
I thought maybe they're
that.
gonna change it. Like they were actually they're gonna go on the road with Joel and Ellie and sing songs in the car and stuff. I thought that's what they were gonna do.
Oh yeah, just the other three episodes are just completely different from the games.
Yeah, they go
They
road
just
trip.
they go road tripping.
Yeah, screaming out the word awareness for gun violence. Yeah, like
They just go to the hunters and they go, "Hey, Kathleen, f those guns, right?" And she goes to the hunter, and goes, "You know what, guys? My brother was right. Violence is not the answer. You throw away
yeah,
all the guns, And the fact that they see this and they get, they're so moved they decide they're not gonna bite people anymore. Fuck this infection. We're
yeah,
gonna go live underground. So all the infected the humans, they kind of find this pack. Peace is restored in the earth, and they find a new source of energy. That's not inconsumable. You cannot run out of it, and it does not pollute. And they all live
yeah,
happily ever after.
yeah. They ought to
Joe,
bring in.
homosexual couple is great. It's fantastic.
Dude, I wouldn't put it past them. They ought to bring in Vin Diesel, right? Vin Diesel, he could play Dominic Toretto from Fast and Furious, and he could go up to Kathleen. He could go up to Kathleen and fight her in a fist fight. But before he does it, he throws his guns down and go, "I don't need guns. I need family."
Oh man, I actually would have loved
man.
it. I actually would have loved that.
Would you? Would you?
Yeah, I would have.
Yeah, I would have liked it too. It's different.
Yeah, it's different. You know what? Because no, but in all seriousness, I'm hoping that now that Kathleen is out of the picture, I'm hoping that from now on we're gonna be seeing a bit more fight scenes, a bit more of the serious moments. Now we're getting to the meat of it, right? Now we're going to be actually important scenes that they cannot fuck up. Now I know you said that in the promo, like in the trailer, we did see like a snippet of the "you don't know what loss is" scene.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm hoping is that was like an outtake. I don't know what the actual final version does not have that.
Mm-hmm.
Or I mean, it has it, but it's a better take where he does not just go fast through it. He doesn't just speed read it. You know what loss is, whatever. I'm hoping that, and And that's it. Yeah, that's all of it. I
Well,
think
you better
about.
keep your expectations real freaking low, man, because I think this show is a shell of what the real story is. And like I said, if you're watching this and you like the show, it's okay to like it. I'm not bashing you for liking it. However, don't sit here and say it's the best show on TV. I think that's bullshit. There is no such thing as the best show on TV. It's the best show to you, maybe, but I don't get it. I don't get it. Like I need someone to explain it to me how it's the best show ever made.
It's the best. What these 5 episodes are better than anything Walking Dead has ever shown on television.
Man, that one about
I mean,
took me out of it bad, dude. That's false. That is so false that you're telling me everything.
All of it.
Rick Grimes finding his family after being in a hospital for 3 months, thinking his family was dead. You're telling me that reunion he finds with his wife and son is not impactful, and everything in the Last of Us TV show that's happened is? Maybe the game, possibly, not the fucking show. The show does not have it like the game. They're rushing through everything. It's not a bad show. Listen, I've seen worse TV, all right? And like you say, Jan made a good point. As far as video game adaptations, yeah, I would say it's the best, but it's not special, though. Look what you got. The Halo TV show? That looks like some kind of like bullshit I could do on my desk here, like stop animation. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's cool. I like stop animation, but that's what it fucking looks like. I don't expect that in today's day of age where the thing that pisses me off most about the Last of Us TV show, and then we'll move on. We'll finally talk about a little bit of Hogwarts Legacy. But the thing that pisses me off about the show the most, and I don't know how much you know about the HBO and HBO Max, this company, right? When they make shows, they put like hundreds of millions of dollars into these shows. Okay, so the budget for The Last of Us was through the roof. It was one of the highest produced shows in recent memory, besides like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, you know, those big, huge budget shows, because they got dragons and shit in them, right? So they got to put a lot of time into that. Disney Plus, all their shows, right? Yes, they're well-made shows, but you can even see the CGI isn't the best because they don't have the budget HBO does. HBO has like billions of dollars, and I'm not joking. You can look up their net worth. They are so stinking rich. Where's the brutality in the kills? When you have kills, what's so hard about the wall? All right, here, let's go back to Walking Dead, okay? And I bring this up because people like to compare it, but two, it's a zombie apocalypse show. It's pretty easy to compare. But like when you think of this, The Walking Dead had been on for 11 seasons, and it had gore from the very first episode to the very end. And their budget wasn't shit compared to HBO's budget. Wasn't shit. I mean, like absolute dog shit. And they put blood and gore in almost every episode, whether it was humans or it was zombies, right?
Right.
The Last of Us should be sweeping the floor with The Walking Dead as far as visual fidelity, the kills. Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong. The HBO, this should be a whole other tier. When I'm thinking about HBO shows, like I'll give you a prime example. I know you probably haven't watched it, but they made on HBO Max, they own the DC license, and they have a bunch of the DC stuff on there. And they made a show called Peacemaker with John Cena. That's a good show. It's a great, by the way, great show. I think you'd like it. Show's great. John Cena's phenomenal in that show. Anyway, the brutality in that show, like just the sheer gore of it. Now, they do it for more of like parody reasons, right? Like it's supposed to be like a funnier show. So you're seeing a lot more gore and stuff because it's supposed to be kind of like the ass end of a joke. But if you can see their budget and how far they can take the gore, they should have it just as good in the Last of Us TV show. I don't see any reason why there's no gore. And then like people tell me like, because I've had people say, well, you're just a gorehead then. All you want is gore. No, that's not all I want. I want great storytelling. The gore adds to the world. Again, it makes me feel like there's actual terror and danger when I'm seeing these things actually do some damage. Like you said, I heard you say it. I was messing with my camera, but I was hearing you the whole time, and you had mentioned about to like me and you, we know who a bloater is. We know how bad these dudes are. But the people who haven't played the game, he's just a big fat zombie. He's
That's
a big
right.
fat infected. That's all he is. They don't know like how bad this dude is. I mean, these guys are like terrifying, man. But you don't get to see that. You'll never see a bloater again. What are they going to do with the Rat King? Right? Eventually, right? They got to bring in the Rat King. They're going to dumb that down too, man. They're going to fuck it up.
But they better not. I mean, the Rat King actually have no excuses though, because the Rat King, there's actually one specific scene where it's just Abby and the Rat King. It's one encounter.
They're going to cut it out.
Oh my God, no!
They're going to rush through it, or they're going. No, Abby's just going to like punch it one time, and it's going to fall over, and then she's going to run out the room.
That can be it. She's going to get some spinach first, right? She's going to some spinach. You get it nice and strong, and going to punch it, right?
Dude, it's bullshit, and I don't care, man. Anybody who comes on here, y'all can attack me all you want. This show ain't all that, and for the budget this show has, and for the potential, dude, I was really excited. Like, I guarantee you, the scene where Joel brings the two guys into that random, I don't think it's like a little abandoned store. Well, obviously it's an apocalypse. It's like store, and he ties one up to the chair, and the other one's on the floor. Yeah, how brutal that scene was.
They better do it right.
No, they're gonna fuck it. They're gonna fuck it up, man. I'm telling you.
That's so iconic. God, I love that. When he does the map thing, right? He does, do this thing, mark it on the map, and your friends, but you better match up what your friend does, or your friend says. So he kills him, right? He marks the thing, he kills him. The other guy says, "Oh, I ain't telling you shit, dude," and he says, "That's all right. I believe."
I trust him. Yeah,
good. Like I'm usually, I gotta tell you, I'm really not like I usually really don't like just free violence, just gratified violence. But that scenes like that make it so good. They make me like them so much, and I think that just goes to show how great they are. You really got to be a masterclass in fucking them up.
But we'll see, man. I don't know. Like I said,
we'll see. That's months from now. Weeks.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do it, we can. We'll let it play out. We'll watch all the episodes. Maybe if we have, we'll at least have 2 more shows before the end of the season. So we'll kind of hint on it a little bit, and hell, we can just go into a full-on episode and just either shit on it or praise it a little bit or whatever. Because
I'm sure I looked it up, dude. By the time our next episode comes out, episode 6 and 7 are gonna be out. And by the time our final episode the episode after this one goes up, damn, it's gonna be the night before episode 9.
Oh, okay. Shoot. Well, I mean, we can either. All right. Well, like I said, we can talk more about it, but we can either do the show like we normally do, or we can do it. Like the day after if we can find the time. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And I know that the next show that we have, Brandon, he's been keeping up with it too, and I think Brandon is way more positive about it, especially me. I know you're a little bit more on the fence. Like I'm probably more on.
That's the thing.
Yeah, like that's the thing.
I'm enjoying. That's the thing.
Yeah. No, like I've said it in every review. Like I've been looking forward to it because it gives me something to watch on Sundays. I'm excited to watch it. Like I will say, I'm excited because I know this world and I know these characters. And look, I love Pedro Pascal. That the guy who plays Joel. I think he's a good dude. Like he just seems funny. I watched him. If you ever want a good laugh, he did some skits on SNL.
The Mario one.
Yeah, he did Mario. He did one where he's like in a hospital bed, and what he's doing. It's funny. I'll tell you this. We'll talk about a little Hogwarts, but he's like laying in a hospital bed, and he had a concussion or something. So his wife is right beside him, and there's I think 2 other people in the room, and he wakes up and he's like talking like this, like the whole time, like that. Like he can't really enunciate his words. And I thought that shit was just hilarious. So if you ever get some time, definitely check those out because Pedro Pascal's a cool dude. So him playing Joel, he's growing on me a little bit. Especially that scene where Henry has him at gunpoint He's laying on the floor and he said, "Look, I'm gonna lower my gun as long as we're cool." And he's like, "Are we cool?" And Joel's like, "Yeah, we're cool." Like that. He's like, "I don't really like the way you said that." I thought that was funny. I thought that was good.
And he goes, "No, he's just an asshole. You're really cool."
Yeah,
Guys.
Ellie's like, "Yeah, he doesn't mean it. He just." I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was funny, but he just kept going like, "Yeah, we're cool." But anyway, we'll put a pin on that unless there's anything else you want to say about the show before we
can go on.
Move on to seemingly the last topic of the show here, because we've talked about literally everything except for Hogwarts.
Right.
I know you haven't had access to the game as long as I have. It looks like to me we've put about around the same time into it, possibly. So I'll let you kind of take lead on it. I mean, how are you feeling on it? I got a feeling I know, but tell the people.
What you mean about the game itself, or
yeah, Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, right. I mean, as you said, I only got to the game thanks to you. Actually, you game shared it with me. And thank you for giving me this opportunity so I can talk about it on the show.
No problem.
First impressions. I like it. All right. So Harry Potter was a big part of my childhood. You know, I don't know about you, but I always played those PlayStation 2 Harry Potter games where they kind of loosely adapted the movies. But the coolest part to me was exploring the castle. In those games, it was really cool. You had a lot of little puzzles that were kind of hidden.
Yep.
They were way more fun doing all that kind of stuff than actually following the story. So this game kind of, when it advertised itself, it seemed to really lean on that, you know. So yeah, sure, you make your own character. You just explore Hogwarts, and it does do that. Kind of not. Maybe I think I just grown older. I think the magic is kind of lost in me. As much as this game, I think it captures the magic really well. Mostly the movies, which is great for me because that's what I grew up with. You know, I think all the tunes from the movies are here. You know, all the aesthetics from the movies are here. Every time you cut a little page, you get a little tune. The bom 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 is great. So
Revelio.
Yeah, exactly.
Revelio.
Oh God, I have a meme. Oh God, I saw a meme about that. So you know the scene in the sixth movie, in the Half-Blood Prince, where there's like it's Draco Malfoy and Dumbledore up in the astronomy tower, and Draco goes, "Don't you understand? I have to do this." I saw a meme where it's just that. It's the scene. He says, "Oh, I have to do this, Revelio," and it's like me every 5 seconds in Hogwarts. But yeah, my problem, what I was going to, is that I think I'm done with open world games. I think that's the problem, because as great as it is, right? As great as it is in capturing the Harry Potter feel, you know, the music is here, all the iconic spells are here. I think that they did a very good job at adapting them into a game. Like all the spells, they feel like they were imagined to be played in a game, right? Revelio is for revealing all the hidden stuff. Then you got Expelliarmus to disarm them, which I know that's what they do in the books and the movies too. But here it feels so organic. It feels great the way it's implemented in the game. I think the combat is fantastic. The problem is it's still combat in an open world game, and most of it is just me running around collecting shit, doing really dumb quests. And I'm telling you, you can put the greatest coat of paint on it. It's still the same games we've been playing for years now, and I'm tired of them. Honestly, I cannot. Like, I get excited every time I see. At first, I got excited every time something new was introduced. Like, oh, I get to fly around with a broom. I gotta pop these fucking balloons. Then, oh no, I can distill potions. Now I gotta worry about that. Oh, I can capture animals. Now I gotta worry about that. See, like, it's kind of a love and hate thing, because with every new exciting thing, I am also reminded that this is not just a cool mechanic. It's something I'm gonna have to do 100 times now, especially if I want to complete it. But even if I just want to play through it, right? I have to capture the little animals. I gotta go to the little fucking pocket dimension where I keep them every half an hour or so, so I can pet them, so I can feed them, so they can give me the wool or whatever that I can use to upgrade my gear, which I'm changing all the time because they have this Luton spell mechanic where you gotta change gear constantly. You're constantly finding new gear, it's always better, and you gotta upgrade the gear. And it's honestly, I'm tired.
Mhm.
I'm tired. I'm honestly thinking this is my last open world game ever. This is my send off. I'm not playing them anymore. I cannot. Especially, I think for me, it's even more tiring than it is for some people, just because I have this whole my completionist bone. I see 1 out of 100, and I gotta get there, right? And it's just that much more heartbreaking for me.
Mhm.
Disheartening is what I want to say.
Right.
So yes, the game does great. The comedy is good. It did capture the feel. It's a great. The castle looks fantastic.
Mhm.
I think they make the architecture is right there. Exploring it is a wonder until you have to do it for 50 times. So I'm sorry if I'm like my speech is a bit slurred, but it's 1:30 in the morning here.
Mhm.
But that's my general idea of it. It's done well. It's one of the best open world games out there, but it's still an open world game. So it's like it's the best of the worst for me.
Mhm.
And I cannot enjoy it as much as some people do, and I'm sorry for that.
And then it's nothing. Let me say this. It's nothing to be sorry about. I think that's a good
Because I
point. I
feel like
mean,
I'm not sorry. I'm not being asking sorry to the other people who are enjoying it. I'm saying that I feel sorry because I think that if I were a bit younger, right, if I would have come across this when I was like 13, I would have loved it. I would have played the shit out of it. That's what I'm sorry about.
yeah,
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not asking forgiveness. No, that's not what I'm
yeah.
doing.
No. If you all right, well, here's my advice to you as far as going forward with the game. If you decide you still playing the game, that is, what I
Yeah,
would
I gotta.
say. What I'll say is, if you again, this is just advice. You might tell me just shut up, whatever. Just play the main quest. Just do the main quest. The game is too big. Like, I'm sure you can come back and do it later. Just take your time with it, man, and just play the main quest because, like, I can understand like the whole. I get your whole thing. You're the completionist, and I get that, and you seem to have a good time doing that. But man, this is a big game, man. This is a big game. It's bigger than I don't think anybody would have thought. It's way. I agree. It's way too big. It is like the map alone is ridiculous. And I wasn't expecting it to be that way. Like, it's cool, but it's like at the same time, it is a lot of like just going down a dirt road. You're seeing some cliffs and shit. You got these little villages on the outskirts of Hogwarts and stuff. And it is. It's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot of lot of empty space. Yeah, you got that you got Ranrock's, henchmen all over the place. So, whatever. Um, but yeah, not if you want any advice from me, just play to the main story because they level gate. It level gates with you, by the way. Like, even if a main level says recommended is 3 and you're like 11, all the enemies shoot right up to 11 when you play it. You know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't know that.
Yeah, I
I
noticed.
didn't know.
I noticed that when I went into the Forbidden Forest for the main. There's a main quest where you go to Forbidden Forest after you meet the.
The
I
crow
forgot you were
guy.
getting something from the ghost. I don't remember what. I can't remember the mission now,
So
but it's part of the
you
trials. Oh, it's bread. It's toast, isn't it? Isn't it toast?
I don't know. I don't know if you're talking about the same thing, but remember, it's the ghost. He tells you that he stole a wand or something,
Oh
and
yeah.
whilst going there, you also find the missing page of the book that you find
Mhm,
in Gringotts, I think.
mhm.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about. The Forbidden Forest, sure, that one.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, in that part where all those spiders are
Mhm.
attacking you, that recommended level for that was like 5, and I was like 12 at that point. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna
Mhm.
go in there and just beat everything's ass. I get in there and there's like spiders 12, 13, 14 in there.
Okay.
So it does level with you. So my suggestion, and again, you might be like, nah, I don't really want to play like that. But I feel the open world thing. I'm as of right now, the way I'm playing it, I'm doing main quests because it's a
Mhm.
lot. It's a lot, dude. It's a lot, and it's almost to the point where like, so I beat the Callisto Protocol, and like I said, I'm proud of it because I platinumed it. That was the first game I've platinumed in many years.
Congrats.
I enjoy the Callisto Protocol. I have that, by the way, if you want to try that out. I beat Dead Space. I didn't do a lot of. I got like over half the achievements on it, but I was just more of just like because Hogwarts Legacy was out, I wanted to play that. So I was just trying to, I ain't gonna lie, the last like couple hours, I was just trying to speed through it so I could play Hogwarts. So coming from mainly linear games, jumping into this, it's not hitting me as bad. But I will say it's just a lot of game, dude. It's a big game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take you on that advice. That's probably what I'm gonna do anyways, because all these side quests are kind of burning me out. Honestly, you know is happening is that I initiate a side quest, and it's as always there's like a bit of dialogue where the guy explains what he wants from you. Uh, what happened is that my mind wanders. It's
Mhm.
as if I just completely lose concentrations. It comes to the point where a game goes to a halt because you gotta pick an option like a dialogue option, and I'm spaced out. Like I was thinking about something completely different. I just kind of I realized I'm spacing out, so I regain consciousness, and I see that, and I understand that I completely missed the whole dialogue because it was so uninteresting to me.
Yeah,
And
like
that this,
the guy who sells you your broom, right? That guy talks so much, and there's other like you have your main dialogue option that carries a story, and then you have like three others. That's like,
yeah,
what is a broom? Like one of the questions is, what does a broom do? Like what?
honestly, honestly, like, and that's Horizon did the same thing where, yeah, do you want more expositionary dialogue or not? Like, gee, what do you think? And honestly, sometimes the questions are even somewhat interesting, but yeah, as you said, some are fucking stupid. And honestly, or even when it's something that it's not obvious, it's something that I really don't care about. Like, I'm talking about this old lady. She's talking about, I don't know, she wants me to reconnect with her, help her reconnect with her husband or whatever, with her dead
Uh-huh.
husband. I don't know. And one of the questions is, how did you meet your husband? I don't give a shit. Why would I? Like, honestly, I'm gonna forget even your name by the time I'm done with this game. Why would I even? Why would I ask a question like that?
Well,
And
let me ask you this. Do you think the game? Have you ever played the game Bully?
I did, yes.
If the game was a little bit more like Bully, would you like it better where you actually had classes to go to like on
Definitely,
time?
definitely. Honestly, and I was gonna come to this. I would have much preferred if the entire plot was centered around you being a somewhat normal student. Because honestly, this whole thing of you being chosen, well, not really chosen, but you being special, right? You being able to use this Asian magic, and it sucks you into this ploy of some, I don't know, some ancient shenanigans. I kind of hate it. Well,
Mm.
well, hate is a strong word, but I'm really indifferent to it. It's a story that we've seen 100 times. I do not find it particularly interesting. I do not think that whatever big twist is coming is going to shock me much. I would have, you put it perfectly. I did not even think of that. But yes, I would have loved if the game was like Bully. Like, of course, there is a main plot, right? You're still the protagonist of your own little story. But I do wish it wasn't as a there was a word for this. It was more of a microcosm, right? Um, it was centered or more on your school life and whatever happened, whatever shenanigans you come across during that, instead of this big world-threatening event where the goblins are trying to overtake the world or whatever. Like I honestly don't care much for it, but I
Mm.
do love classes. I do like that. I do find it ridiculous that a fifth year is kind of catching up to his peers so quickly. But no, I kind of have my suspension of disbelief since it's a game. But I do enjoy that. I enjoy going to classes. The little scenes, you get a little cutscenes after you complete the side tasks, right? Where
Hmm.
kind of just hanging out with your buddies, and doing this crazy stuff while learning about medical plants or medical animals. I like that. I wish there were more stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's me going into the Forbidden Forest as if it's no big deal.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, look, yeah, I don't know. Am I crazy for this? I remember that in the movies and books, the Forbidden Forest was a pretty big deal. Like it was, there was a lot of dangerous shit there. It's forbidden, right? But over there, it's like at the beginning there was like a bit of shenanigans, and I thought, okay, we're being a bit sneaky going into the Forbidden Forest. But
Yeah.
like I swear, there are at least 20 side quests where the NPC just casually tells you, "Oh, you're probably gonna find this in the Forbidden Forest," or "Well, you better gear up if you might want to step into the Forbidden Forest."
Mhm.
Like I thought
Yeah.
interrogations should
I
be.
agree. Yeah, I
Mhm.
agree. It's instead of it's supposed to be like this big thing. Like I expected when you go to the Forbidden Forest, it'd be like a one and done kind of thing. Like you got to go in
Mhm.
there for something specific, and you barely escape with your life. Kind of like how
Exactly.
Harry and Ron they went in there to to see Aragog, and they're like, we need the secrets of the Chamber of Secrets, and he tells them what he needs to tell me. He's like, all right, well, I can't deny my kids dinner, and you see all these spiders come in, and
Right.
Ron's like, we
Exactly.
gotta get the fuck out of here, kind of thing.
I got it now.
Yeah, yeah. Can we leave now? Yeah, and the car comes in, and that was a scary part. I remember being a kid, like, oh god, I feel like they're all over me,
Oh,
And
I
so, like,
really
yeah, that felt like, again, we go back when I was talking about The Last of Us, we talking about like real like terror and
Mhm.
stakes. When I think about the Forbidden Forest, I was like you, we're just walking in and out of that bitch like all the time. We're just waltzing in there, like, all right, no problem, like, are you kidding
It's
me?
no big deal. Like
Yeah.
at least make it a high level zone, right? At least make it actually dangerous. I remember I got into this side quest, which is of a much higher level than me. It's like level 30, and I'm barely level 20. And I got bodied there because I did not realize it was high level until I actually got to the enemies. And if it's in some no-name cave, right? Some fucking butt bitch bumpkin place, right? And that place, a little hole in the middle of nowhere, is way more dangerous than the Forbidden Forest, the trademark, copyright protected Forbidden Forest. Is less dangerous than some cave up in the fucking upper highlands or whatever. Um, I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, and again, I would have much preferred. Okay, sure, exploring the outskirts of Hogwarts. Sure. Actually, I not only I don't accept it. I demand it. Because you gotta fight a broom around there somewhere, right? You gotta have some outdoors places. Sure, that's cool, including the Forbidden Forest. But this whole open area is so ridiculous. I would have much preferred if they were more focused on the castle. A smaller map packed with more stuff.
Mhm.
There are some side quests that kind of make you go into these hidden rooms that have like puzzles and challenges and stuff. That's what I like. That's what I actually thought this game was all going to be about. Um, but I wish there was more stuff like that because Hogwarts,
Yeah.
if you think about it, it's kind of it's a phenomenon of its own, right? It's kind of got a life of its own, right?
Mhm.
It's so full of secrets. It has such a huge history, right? Of people, building secret chambers in there, people doing all kind of stuff that impacted its infrastructure. I think it would be great. There's a lot of stuff they could do with that. But instead, I don't know, I gotta find the missing diary of some chick that lives 3,000 kilometers away from Hogwarts. Yeah, I guess the developer side, I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
don't know.
it is like, so I will say, like, I'm still starstruck, right? Because I think it's like you said, like, you kind of age out of stuff, or your interest isn't as there. I was starstruck. Like my first like 3 or 4 days I had it, I was like, okay, my game of the year, hands down. And to be honest with you, it still is. I'm not. It hasn't
No,
lost its spot because to
it
me,
hasn't.
like, because for me, it's like I've always wanted a game like this. I've always wanted a game
Mhm.
sort of like this, at least. Where you are a student and you go to classes and perform the dark arts and all that stuff. Which, by the way, that's a whole other thing because like these are unforgivable curses,
It
and
just moves away.
you blasting them within the halls of Hogwarts and nothing's happening.
Okay, and you know what's even more funny? When you learn how to apparate and disapparate stuff in the room of requirements,
Yeah.
like you can ask the what's it? You can have the Weasley chick. I don't know. She's the vice principal. Yeah, she's the vice principal. You can ask her, oh, so I can use this apparition magic anywhere in Hogwarts? She says, oh no, it is strictly forbidden to use apparition magic, magic in the halls. Oh, so that's not okay. We draw the line there. But the killing curse, oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's,
I've seen like I was scrolling through TikTok today at work, and I seen multiple TikToks of like guys, guys and girls playing the game, and like they'll be in, like in the classrooms they'll have like little dummies set up where if they teach you, like if the professor teaches you a new spell, it's like it's best if you practice that
make
here.
sure
Yeah. Well, anyway, they were like, one of them used a Avada Kedavra in the classroom, and all they do is, you shouldn't be using that kind of curse, young man, or something like that, and then they just blow it off. Like, what?
There's
That dude would be in Azkaban immediately.
You shouldn't be as if you're imagine that in real life, right? Like the equivalent of using the killing curse is bringing a knife to school, right? This the equivalent to it, and start stabbing around with it. Imagine if a teacher sees that and goes, "You shouldn't be doing that." But I'll close one eye for this once. Like,
yeah, it is kind of immersion breaking when nobody really reacts to you using these spells, and like you said, yeah, I mean, I totally get you there. I think too, like we do expect this level of gaming, nowadays, but I never really expected it to be like that, like immersive. But I would have liked him to react a little bit more to me throwing out like these unforgivable curses. Like these are supposed to send you straight to Azkaban if you're using them, and you just like Crucio. So anyway, to get my spiel on it, I think I'm liking it a little bit better than you. But what I'm doing is if you take my advice at all, I go through the main quest. That way you don't get as burnout. I do agree. There's a lot of quests. Like a lot. What house did you pick? Slytherin?
Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw. Okay, good deal. So actually,
did you pick Slytherin?
Yeah, I picked Slytherin. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I was thinking. I think either Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff. One of them has the least amount of side missions. I don't remember which one it was.
Oh, you get the side missions?
Well, so if you're Gryffindor, you get the most amount of side quests. If you're Slytherin, you have a lot of side quests, but not as much as Gryffindor. I think Ravenclaw has one of the least amount of side quests, and then Hufflepuff, they actually have a couple missions where you go to Azkaban, which would have been awesome.
Wait, Hufflepuff gets it? The lamest house gets the ones in Azkaban. Are you kidding me?
Not kidding you. Not kidding you. I know there's at least one really extensive mission where you go to Azkaban.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
But I will admit, this is cool. This is replayability. And honestly, I like how you get, of course, with each different house you get it to, you have a different cutscene of you getting to the common hall, right? You meet different characters early, depending on your house. And some characters even talk to you differently if you're of a certain house. Like you just got your broom, but there are this whole set of side quests where there is this chick who's supposed to be like the grand champion at broom racing. Mm-hmm. And when I talk to her, she goes, "Oh, yeah, I'm not going to lose to anyone, much less to a fucking Ravenclaw, right?"
Yeah.
So I do like that. That kind of immerses me a little bit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's some stuff like that, but it's not like Red Dead 2 level. But yeah, I agree. The combat's a lot more fun than I would have thought, because like that was people's main complaint. It looks like you're just casting one spell. That's definitely not the case. You're casting you're hitting R2 to cast just your basic attack spell to wait for your other spells to be ready to use. So, and I think that adds a whole other thing. I mean, like casting Accio and then hitting it with Expelliarmus or Accio and then using Incendio, burning them while they're in midair. Then you can push them back. I mean, the combat is really fun. You can mix it up really well.
A lot of cool combos you can do. You can hit him with a Levioso, and then you can hit him with a Descendio to make him slam down on the ground. You can do Expelliarmus to disarm them. Then you can pick up their sword and throw it against them, it's real fun.
I
It's
love
really
when you hit L1 and R1 at the same time when your meter fills up, and you'll do that one where you're throwing them like this. Like
yes, that's
the dude, awesome spell. Like really cool stuff.
although my favorite ancient magic animation is when you turn him into chicken. I don't know if you run into that one.
No, I don't think so.
When you turn him into chicken, and there's another one when you make them really small and then you fucking stomp them. It's
that's cool.
Yeah,
no, I haven't seen any of those. Do you think it's different with each house you pick?
I hope not. No, I think it's just maybe it depends on which enemy you use it on. I think that's what it's about. I'm trying to use it on every enemy because I'm trying to see what all other animations I can get. So
But I mean, I will say I think the world is beautiful. I mean, getting up on your broom and looking at like a bird's view of Hogwarts is awesome. One of my big complaints, though, is that you can't land everywhere. Like you have to actually land by a staircase and walk up the shit, as opposed to using my broom to fly into like an opened like a bridge, right? The bridge that goes from one corridor to the next outside. I can't land my broom in the middle of the bridge, which is really stupid.
I haven't run into that actually.
Yeah, they kind of limit you on where you can like park your broom, I guess you could say. Like you can't just land anywhere. You have to land like near a staircase, get off the broom, and then walk into the school, which is really lame. Really lame. But yeah, all in all, man, yeah, I think the enemy variety for the most part is pretty good. The story, I'm kind of like you. I'm still just trying to figure it out. I did hear apparently that the events of this game is supposed to sort of affect the kind of like the trajectory of the Harry Potter story, Voldemort and all that stuff. Like it apparently is supposed to mess with that. So I'm kind of curious to see maybe Tom Riddle has a little bit of that ancient magic or something, or whatever. I know we're bound to see. I know we're bound to see Dumbledore at some point because he would be alive. He'd just be young because I think Dumbledore was like 160 years old when he died, so he would be alive around this time. Now that
you mention it, right? How they're impacting the main games. One thing that I think that this game tackles even better than the original story is how the various students from different classes interact. Because in the original story, it was like a huge segregation, right? The Gryffindors really only hung out with the Gryffindors. The Slytherin were all by themselves in their little basement. Well, over here, you're kind of hanging out with a bunch of different kids. Not only that, the thing that makes me happier is that not all Slytherins are assholes. This was a huge thing, that a real turn up every time I watch the movies. Like every Slytherin is an asshole ever. Well, here there's one of the main characters, Sebastian.
Sebastian,
he's a really cool guy. He's trying to find a cure for his sister, and
teaches you unforgivable curses. So yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, but I can appreciate about it. He's being sneaky about it, but he's a good guy at heart, right? He's like a delinquent with a heart of gold, and I can appreciate that. Like, I'd much rather that than him being a fucking asshole going, well, what are you, a fucking muggle-born piece of
what's the matter, Potter? What's the matter, Potter?
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, stop spitting when you say Potter. Yeah, I agree. They made, I guess like the whole, like the way their dorm looks, it looks very dark and bleak. And
I did not get to see it though. Keep in mind,
Yeah. So, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I do understand that it is a lot like games we have played before. It is like the Far Cries of the world, the new Assassin's Creed. But I will say I'm not gonna put it down that bad. Like as far as calling it's just a reskin of Far Cry. It's a reskin of Assassin's Creed. I'm not gonna say that because I think that's disrespectful. I don't think that's fair. I think this game was made with a lot of love and a lot of nerds who like the game. Now, does it have a busy work in it? Yeah, it does. But I think also too, it does have side quests that are extensive. You might not give a shit, but there are side quests that are cool. I think the thing that turns me off from it, and I think we've had the conversation before, and I don't want to go too far into it because I know it's getting late. But I think that I think being able to create your own character, this is gonna sound bad. It kind of hurts you a little bit because my thing is it's hard for me to have a connection with a character that's just kind of like a blank space. They're not it. It's not that your character can't convey emotion, but I don't feel it as bad. It's like, all right, you go to Last of Us. I care about Joel. He's an already established character. You let me love him and care for him, and now I care about his journey with Ellie. And you know how we feel about Ellie. I mean, I love Ellie. She's one of my favorite protagonists in any game. I love Ellie. And so, like, they're already pre-established characters. There weren't characters that we would create. In Hogwarts Legacy, you create your own character. So when they're going through things, it doesn't quite hit as hard to me. It doesn't hit hard at all because it's just like, I don't care.
Well, that's another open world problem that I have. It's just, yeah, as you said, the character is a blank slate because it's supposed to be as if you're that character, right? It's like supposed to be this power fantasy, and I get that. That's why a lot of people like it. Like I spoke to some friends, and that's why they like the game. It's like, oh, I made my character look like me because I feel like it's me playing, right?
My character does not look like me at all.
No.
What's the name of your character, by the way? I gotta know. What's the name?
I made it as different from me as possible, right?
What's his name?
I called her Alida Fox. That's Fuchs.
Oh, okay. Mine is I made a guy and his name is Anakin Grimes. That's his name.
Okay.
I thought it sounded pretty evil, kind of.
Right. Okay. It was like a Star Wars meets Walking Dead meets Harry Potter. All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. No, I cannot. I don't understand. This is a selling point to a lot of people, right? Being able to make kind of your little guy that looks like you, so you can feel like you're part of the journey. I don't like it, and just as you said, it really hurts the narrative. I think the stories itself, like the plot, it's already pretty bland. And I have this one character who's just a nobody, right? It's just a no-name powerhouse he's such a huge talent for magic. Oh yeah, I just enrolled, 5th year, but I'm learning all the spells just like that without even trying. Also, I know this Asian magic. Also, I'm killing trolls like it's fucking nothing. The entire magical world, kind of depends on me for anything. Every time there's a problem, they go to me. They go to, what's a 5th year? It's like a 15-year-old. Like a 15-year-old just going around solving all the world's problems.
Yeah. Professor Fig is just like, get your studies in, but go to the Forbidden Forest and go get this page and then go over here.
Again, another reason why Bully made it best. It's a pre-established character with his own, with his own perks, his own characteristics. But you got to go to attend classes as him, and the story in Bully is much better for it. Also, I don't know, but I also don't like the really bland voice. I'd much rather, if you're gonna make a protagonist like that, who's just a blank slate, make him not talk. Because I hate every time a character talks, he or her, rather, always gives the most unconsequential dialogue, like the blandest things ever, right? Just to remind you that she's here on the scene. She doesn't really make the plot go forward at all. She just says some dumb fuck like, "Oh well, that was exciting." Like, shut up, dude. Like, honestly, just let the main characters talk.
Yeah. Every time you get into Hogsmeade, it's like a place out of a storybook.
Oh my god, no! I hate it. Every time it looks like all roads lead to Hogsmeade. While we're on the topic. Every time I use the Flu Network, there's a lady saying,
dude, says the same shit. This is much harder before I developed flu powder.
You know what I always say? Traveling opens the mind, or
something like that. Yeah.
And honestly, the first few times, I didn't even realize who was talking. I was looking around because at first I thought it was like some character, around me because I was like spawning Hogwarts or something. But then I would spawn into the Forbidden Forest and I was still hearing her. I thought, who the fuck is talking? I realized that it's the statue that she is.
Yeah, the Forbidden Forest is like not scary at all, to the point where you got students living in the middle of it and they're just walking to class and they're like, "Oh, this would have been harder if I didn't invent flu powder." And it's like,
Oh my
"Fuck,
God.
what are you doing?"
Right?
Avada Kedavra. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know how God of War they I'll let you finish, but you know how in God of War after people complain enough, they enabled an option when the characters talk less.
Oh yeah, they
I
did.
I did not feel like I needed that in God of War. I desperately needed it in Hogwarts Legacy. The characters need to shut up. Both mine and the little Flu Network lady. I cannot stand them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you, because yeah, God of War didn't bother me. Like a bunch of people were complaining about it, and that didn't bother me nearly as bad as this. It is bad, and they said the same thing. What I was gonna say about the character's voice is, like, even if you try to make their voice sound decent, it's just, yeah, like, even if you wanted, like, for me, for my run, I was gonna try to be a little bit of a dick, like a little bit, just a little bit. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be a good guy all the time. But when I make him say things that are not nice, they just don't. I don't feel it. You know what I mean? It's just like the
Mhm.
delivery. It's like almost the voice actor that they got for this. It's like he was only supposed to be a good wizard. Like, they just want you to be like a very good wizard. I would have liked it if they did like a what's that game called, Infamous. I think it'd be cool if they did like an
Mm.
Infamous approach to it, where like you could get you. Well, maybe they'll do this one day. Maybe.
Karma meter.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe, like, yeah, you do some bad shit and you start kind of looking like Voldemort. Not, may not look
Dude,
like him, but you know,
dude, and if you're like bad enough, then you can start using unforgivable curses because you don't give a shit at that point. See that? There we go. We should have been made. We should have been making this game, dude. Like it's a you're the ones.
yeah, yeah. Well, I guess in a way though, that would kind of make you. I mean, yeah, you're a bad guy, right? I mean, you're supposed to be a little
Yeah.
OP. You're supposed to be a little
Mhm.
overpowered. So,
Same.
yeah, right. If you decide to go the dark
Bad,
side, you get the unforgivable curses.
yeah, bad guys don't
But
play by
but
the
but
rules.
but here's the thing. But here, let me ask you this, Jan. If let's say, for instance, you all right, if you make the bad choices and you get unforgivable curses from being bad, all
Mhm.
right, if you want to be a good wizard, what spells do you get then? Like,
Well,
what spells do you get at your
for
max
example,
level?
well, the ancient magic, for example, like just it's magic, dude. You can just make shit up. Just make sure that the ancient magic only responds to people with a pure heart or whatever. So you only get to use it if you're really good. That's it's really the sky's the limit. Just say that if you're really good, then you can use the ancient magic more often. You get stronger stuff for it. You can
Yeah,
it builds up faster. Stuff like that.
yeah,
That can be just as OP.
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. That is something for them to do next time. I mean, I'm hoping that we'll get a Star Wars game like that. Like, I've always wanted. Let me become
Mm.
a Sith. Let me be a full-on Sith, man. Like,
Well,
I like Cal. I like Cal Kestis. I do. I think he's a good character. But let me be a freaking Sith, man. You know. But I don't
or
know.
you're planning to get what's it called, Jedi Survivor day
Of
one.
course, of course. Day one,
Yeah.
day one. I'll get 2
Yeah.
copies of it. Because I'm going to I want to support games that I really really like, and so I'm gonna, if I have it financially, I'm buying it twice.
Yeah,
Um,
honestly, I support that game. But it hasn't come out yet. I'm supporting it 10 times more than Hogwarts Legacy, but I'm sure I'm gonna like it more just because I liked Jedi Fallen Order much more.
yeah,
So
but I'm glad to hear that you're not having a terrible time with Hogwarts Legacy,
no,
and
no, no, no. I'm really glad I got
yeah,
the chance to play it. And no. I'm not having a terrible time. As I said, I'm finding enjoyment here and there. It's just I think it's just me. I think I'm the problem, honestly.
it
And the
might
game.
be. I mean,
Mhm.
you said it best. I mean, and we'll kind of probably wrap it up here, in a few minutes. But it's kind of like you said it best. You said that open world games in general, it's just overdone, man. It's overdone. Nobody wants to play them. Like leading up to Forspoken, I was actually interested in Forspoken leading up to it,
Me
but
too.
then I played the demo and it was just shit. Like, I just thought it was bad. I thought she sucked. This is her the whole time. Fuck, shit, fuck, holy
Did I
shit,
just do that?
fuck. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
Let's
that's her
do
dialogue.
Oh God, we got to do a whole new episode on Forspoken because there's so much to uncover about that game.
Have you played it?
Like, I played the demo,
Oh, you played the
and I
demo?
watched, yeah, and I watched, and I watched a bit of a walkthrough of the beginning parts. The dialogue is so incredibly bad. It's actually amazing.
Yeah.
The and supposedly in the on the writing team, it's Amy. I don't remember the last name, but the writer who wrote the first three Uncharted games.
What?
She's on the fucking writing team. Amy Hennig, something like that. She's on the writing team, and dialogue is stuff like, "Oh, did I just do that? I blew shit with my fucking mind."
Yeah,
That's
yeah. And she,
something, you know.
yeah, yeah. She keeps saying it too.
Like,
Did I
it's so corny.
did I
Can't
fucking
believe.
did I fucking move that? Did I do that? Did I just
Yeah,
blow
and,
shit out of my hands?
yeah,
What?
and then you have the bracelet going. Oh yes, yes. Can we move on now?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. That was actually pretty good. Yeah, yeah. Can we
yeah,
move
it's not
on?
like this body cop dynamic. It's so weird.
Yeah, yeah. But I was looking forward to that. But I was thinking the same thing leading up to it. I'm like, man, another open world. This one looks empty as shit. Like this, I mean, like at least Hogwarts
But
Legacy, at least it has
move
stuff.
fast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. You can move pretty
But
quick in it. But still, though, it's kind of like a barren wasteland. Though it's not like shit going on. But yeah, but yeah, like you say, I mean, I'm gonna push. I'm not push through. I'm gonna have fun and beat the game. I'd like to. I don't know if I'll beat it before Resident Evil 4 remake. I will say, when Resident Evil 4 comes out, if I'm still playing Hogwarts, it's gonna have to be kind of to the side because Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil. It's my favorite series, probably of all time on as far as
Dude, I'm
gaming
gonna try
goes.
to finish 2 and play 2, 3 before 4 comes out. So I
Man,
can
dude,
finish 1.
you gotta like. I know you gotta ask you. You're playing Hogwarts and then Dead Space as well. So I know you're kind of backed up. But when you get some time, you gotta put some real time into Resident Evil 2 because I think you would dig it if you.
No, I really like I really like what I played. I just had to put it aside because I think God of War came out and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, you gotta pick your poison there. But yeah. But anyway, is there anything else you want to say about Hogwarts Legacy before we close this Joker out tonight?
yeah, I can't think of anything else.
That's it. That's all you got.
What? Oh, do you want me to address the controversy? Is that what I want to talk about?
Oh no, I mean, like that's just that. I was just kind of let down, man. I was expecting you to kind of be like,
What?
I thought you were gonna like give me a closing statement as far as Hogwarts. Like, yeah, it's
It's
kind of
like 40
summarize.
minutes.
It's kind of
What do you
summarize
say?
what you said. Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to do. I mean, if you're done, you're done. But I
Yeah,
mean,
let's summarize. So I think that it's greatly made. It's obviously been made with people who really appreciate the source material. And just to reiterate what I said, it's a real shame that it's an open world game. It's a great shame because I think that otherwise, if it were a bit more constricted, if we were like on a project on a smaller scale, as I said, just Hogwarts and a bit of the Hogwarts outskirts, same mechanics and all, just on a smaller scale, it would have been great. I think that a small level with a lot of stuff packed in it, it's much better than a huge level with a lot of little stuff, interspersed in it. A lot of uninteresting stuff interspersed in it. So yeah, those are my finishing thoughts. If I were 13, I would have loved it. That was how I'm gonna end it.
yeah, yeah, I got you. Well, we'll see it through, and if you're cool with it, maybe we'll do a maybe at least half an episode dedicated to just the finished product. We got the beginning to end. Has our opinion changed about it? Did we go back and because I will do some more of the side quests, but I think that definitely I'm going to try to focus on the story because I do hear that the story is supposed to kind of wrap into the Harry Potter stuff. So I'm kind of interested to see how that works because you got to be careful with that because then you'll get the real like Star Wars territory where you're doing like Obi-Wan series and a Rogue One series and I mean you get a little too crazy when you try to add on to a story that's already been So but anyway, with that being said, I think we'll go ahead and end it right here because I know it's really late for Jan over there and it's late for me too. Well, not as late, but I've been working all day, so I'm ready to get off here, watch some good fights, and have a drink with the wife. But anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for coming to yet another episode of the Deadhead Podcast, episode 18. We're almost at 20, so 20 we got to have a good one for sure. Not that every other show shouldn't be fantastic, but 20 has to be. You know what I mean?
That could be the Last of Us series finale one.
That could be, yeah. If we work that out the right way, yeah, definitely. We should definitely do that because Last of Us. I mean, that's our bread and butter, baby. I mean, that was one of the best. That was one of the best episodes we ever did. Was we talked about the remake, and I mean, we went full into that, and it was awesome. I mean, because it was just something that we're so passionate about that we knew so much about. So with the show, it's going to be funny because I'm going to bash it a little bit, and it's also going to be like yeah. So it'll be a good time. So but anyway, so with that being said, Jan, if you got anything else you want to say to the people before we get out of here, and then we'll wrap this thing on up.
Yeah, I just got to do one thing real quick. Revelio.
I say Revelio and I end the stream right there. All right, well, good last words, man. Yeah, thank you guys for watching again. Sub to the channel, like this stream, follow us everywhere, and we'll try to stay as busy as we can. Next show, which will be on what is it, March 4th, I believe, Jan? I think it's what I said, March 4th with Brandon.
That is, yes.
All right, March 4th, we'll have Brandon Murata of Murata Media. He's a content creator. He's a reviewer of movies, TV shows, and a little bit of games. He's played Hogwarts Legacy, so I like to hear his thoughts on it as well. He'll be on the show, and we'll be talking everything Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, because it's Kang Dynasty time. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next one. Stay dead, my friends.